Our solutions for quiz 6 for Math 60, the dreaded word problem quiz. The first problem, suppose my football team plays 16 games in a season with no ties. If twice the number of games we lose is one less than the number of games we win, determine the number of games that we win by following the steps below. Okay, so first of all, there's two unknowns. The first unknown is the number of wins. The second unknown is the number of losses. So the question asks you to determine the number of games that we win. So what it's asking for, the number of wins, I'm going to call x. So that later on when I solve for x, I will be solving for the answer to the question. So if x is the number of wins, and we play 16 games total, then kind of the rest of the ones we don't win, not all 16, but 16 take away the ones we win, is equal to the losses. So instead of wins, I'll say x. Instead of losses, I'll say 16 minus x. If you get here where you properly name your two unknowns, then what you can do is just read the sentence. What I got, twice the number of games we lose, twice losses, is one less than the number of games we win, wins. If you translate that, twice means 2 times something. Losses, we said, is 16 minus x. Is means equals. 1 less than, be careful there. That means something minus 1. What do I want to subtract 1 from? Wins, which I'm calling x. So what I get is that 2 times 16 minus x is equal to x minus 1. Now that you have this equation, actually that's the end for part A. Part A just wants you to set up the equation. Part B wants you to solve this equation. So if you're trying to solve this equation, we'll have to get all the x's together on one side of the equation, all the numbers on the other, and then solve for x. It's hard to move pieces because we have these parentheses. So a good first step is to multiply, to get rid of the parentheses, distribute that 2 through. That takes you here. Then you're like, all right, I got negative 2x over here and positive 1x over here. So if I add 2x to both sides of the equation, what that'll leave me with is just 32 on this side. And 1x plus 2x gives me 3x. So now I got all my x's on the right-hand side, but I still have this minus 1 here. I want to move my numbers to the left. So I'll add 1 to both sides of the equation. That leaves me with 33 on the left and just 3x on the right. Now I have all my x's here and all my numbers here. I'm almost done, except I don't want to solve for 3x. I want to solve for x. So if I divide both sides of the equation by 3, I'll get x equals 11. In other words, my team won 11 games. Part 2, you kind of repeat those steps. Same basic idea. There's 2 unknowns. So suppose the length of a rectangle is 3 less than the width of the rectangle. The perimeter is 14. Determine the width of the rectangle. So I don't know the width. It wants me to figure it out. I'm going to call it x. If the width is x, then I can go up here and read. It says the length is 3 less than the width. So 3 less than x is x minus 3. So I got my 2 unknowns, length and width, but now I have them in terms of x's. So now that you have them in terms of x's, you can use the rest of the information, namely that the perimeter is, 14? So what that's saying is that I got my width and I got my length. And if I go all the way around this entire thing, I get a width, I get another length over here, I get another width down here, and a length over here. If I add up all those, I get 14. In other words, the width plus the length plus the width plus the length is equal to 14. Guess you could leave it here. If you wanted, you could simplify it at this step. I'm going to simplify it in B because this is all I need you to get to A. Just something like this. It's an equation, only uses one variable, the letter x, and it represents this word problem. And B, I want to solve this equation. First step, combine like terms. I got x, 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 and x. I got 4 of these x's. I got minus 3 and I got minus 3, so I got minus 6. 4x minus 6 is 14. To solve this equation, I get all my x's together on one side of the equation. That's already done. Put all my numbers on the other side. You can do that by adding 6 to both sides. What that leaves me with is 4x equals 20. Now I have all my x's on the left and all my numbers on the right, which is good. Don't want to solve for 4x, I want to solve for x. So divide both sides of the equation by 4. And what you find is that x equals 5. Because x is what I called the width, I've answered this question. I've determined the width of this rectangle. It's 5. And that's the end. That's the end of this quiz.